I'm Max, the original Flowgrammer, and I'm on a mission to save my LinkedIn inbox, use AI, but retain my humanity and authenticity. First problem. The big problem that I've been having is managing my LinkedIn inbox. The thing is, I don't want to just slap AI on it, right? I still want to maintain a personal interaction. This is my LinkedIn. These are important leads, decision makers, community members. And with LinkedIn, there's negotiation and decision making as well, right? A lot of AIs will write a nice positive reply, but you still have to make the decision. Yes, I'd like to do this collaboration. No, I'm not available on this date. And so I'm going to Dubai to build a solution that I can own to help solve that problem. I'm going to collaborate with Oumnya, a fellow Flowgrammer.
So for everyone at home, Oumnya is expecting to show me a use case today, and I'm totally ready to do that. But I have a counter proposal for you. What if we reschedule for next week and do this in person in Dubai, do a little live build session together? But if you'd be up for it, I would. Yeah? Shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Today is Monday, 10:30 a.m. right now. I just arrived in Dubai, heading to the Airbnb right now. I'll drop off the gear, and then I just heard from Oumnya. We're gonna link up, and we're gonna have a quick game plan on how we're gonna approach this project. Tomorrow's gonna be our build day. We'll have one full build day, perhaps another. We're gonna be really efficient. There's two of us, two skilled Flowgrammers. That should be enough. Oumnya, hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome to Dubai.
Thank you. We just had a little lunch and we just created a little game plan. And what we're going to try and do is fix our LinkedIn inboxes, right?
Yeah.
Because when the different things that we do, we both have to have a presence on LinkedIn. Makes sense, like a lot of folks. But I don't know about you, but my LinkedIn inbox, like I'm not even big yet, quote unquote. I know people, like even my CEO has like double whatever the followers, and my inbox sucks.
Yeah.
I imagine your inbox sucks?
I haven't seen it in a while. It's scary.
Okay. So we got scary inboxes. What are the kinds of issues you're dealing with usually?
I just filtering out the stuff that I need to answer and the stuff that I don't really care about.
Yeah, I have that too. I have a prioritization thing. It's not just from big people, right? It might be like from someone with a really important question, an important bug, or a great idea, and I missed that.
Yeah.
Then there's also, I think, a lot of people. Oh, this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that, guys. Sorry, Berlin. Yeah, but Luis, remember, we're here for Flowgramming and building. That's why we had to in-person touch. It's a tough job, Oumnya, but someone's got to do it. All right, let's stay focused. All right. Okay, so basically, our LinkedIn inboxes suck, and we think that's the case for a lot of people. Because there's definitely a lot of LinkedIn tools out there, but they all seem to focus on, especially with AI, on sending the messages and making the inbox hellish. So what if we try to save the inbox again, but not just slap AI on it?
And also not forget that we're using our own LinkedIn inboxes, so privacy.
Yes, Oumnya, I know that open source and privacy is an important thing for you here. So what are you thinking around that?
So apparently everyone, DeepSeek R1 is trending, so we can try and host it and use it, or we can also go with Quen.
So what would you want to get in place before tomorrow?
Figure out which API we can use to actually get the messages. I think it's one big first step. Once we get the messages, I think that we can figure out how to draft and do the classification and all of that.
Yeah. I agree. I know of Unipile.
Yeah.
Do you know of any others?
I did develop my own, but it keeps disconnecting from LinkedIn.
Okay. I am a little worried about that with the time.
With the time, I think Unipile is going to be our...
The nice thing is we can build it in a way where the API provider is a little decoupled.
Yeah.
We can wrap it a little bit, but to make it easier in future, because we're going to make this all as a free template. We're going to release everything that we do so you can recreate this as well. We're going to build something that's templatable with n8n and open source stuff that you can self-host. Cool. I recommend that we catch some more of these nice views and flesh out some of the details, and then I can go do all that busy legwork. Since I came all the way from Germany and you're helping me build up this project, I wanted to get you a little memento from Berlin. So what's more German than a massive Haribo? I was like, what's German? Got only a little symbolic Haribo. See you, Luis. It's not too crazy. One thing I actually wanted to ask you for a while. You're really into open source, right? Passionate about it.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through that journey?
I like to own my stuff.
Yeah. There's a moment, was there some like Genesis story where you were like, did you get screwed over by a cloud vendor real bad?
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel like for a lot of open source folks, there's that never again moment?
It's two things. One, if you want to automate stuff and do all this programming as well, just using all these subscriptions, you're gonna end up with $1,000 subscription fees for stuff that you can just self-host.
Yeah.
Or just do on your own time, like just develop yourself with the Claude or OpenAI or whatever AI that exists. So that's one thing. And the second thing is I also like the challenge of either self-hosting it or learning the new technology and seeing how it's done. Yeah, it's the challenge as well.
What's your earliest memory of being like, ooh, open source, I like? Do you remember?
I actually don't.
Huh?
I don't know.
How long have you been in the game?
I've been in the development game for the last 10 years, so I'm quite...
Okay. So a veteran, really a veteran.
I'm not an expert. I've just been doing this for 10 years. They said there is no nature in Dubai. Look.
Yeah, right. Oumnya is showing me a cool open source alternative to Notion. It's called what? What is it?
Outline.
Outline. I just created a new page because we're going to create a scope document and plan everything. But what do we call this project? It doesn't have a name yet.
Well, whenever I need to think of a name, I just go to AI.
No, this is going to be human name. Well, we're gonna think on this one. Okay, so I'm currently scoping out the list of stuff that we want to get done. And Oumnya right now is checking out what we're going to use for our API, source of truth for LinkedIn. Because the official LinkedIn API, you basically have to be Bill Gates to have access to it. So that's not a possibility. We're looking at Unipile right now. And where are we at with that?
So I checked and I found an endpoint to get the messages. Yeah, I'm not getting any fields that I can use to check if the message is read or unread. So that's what I'm checking to see what I can use to filter them out. So we're testing.
So I'm going to scope it out. And then Oumnya, your job is going to be to help me take a kebab knife to it and chop it down. Because this is like my wish list. So we're going to have to get realistic. Okay, cool. What a wild ride so far since I woke up in Berlin 48 hours ago. Time for a quick end of day one wrap up. It's 12:30 and we got an early start, so I'll make it quick. Highlight of the day, of course, got to meet Oumnya. That was awesome. I think already game planning what we're going to do in person was fantastic. And nothing beats in-person collaboration. But damn, our espresso's not cheap in Dubai. The focus of today was planning out our project because we don't have a whole lot of time to build the solution. We have a scope list or a list of basically acceptance criteria. They might not be as formal as a PM might write if they're working at some big tech company. But I think the importance of acceptance criteria is all the people working on it agree on what it means and that there's an actionable definition of done. Like you can check that acceptance criteria and accept it or not, right? So I worked on creating that. And Oumnya has signed off on that because she's going to be handling a lot of the back-end stuff on this and we're going to be collaborating on it. The reason that's good as well is we were able to identify discrete chunks of work that can interact with each other. So what I mean by that, there's various back-end workflows, various front-end parts. Once we have an idea of what we need to build and how that's going to interact with each other, tomorrow when we're actually building, we can do some things in parallel, right? So if we know that we have a front-end view that I'm working on and we know that there's got to be a back-end that has some acceptance criteria, we can quickly come up with the mock data schema between those, the front-end, back-end contract, like you would have in traditional development. And with that, I can use that mock data to build out the front end. So here's a screen of what it's looking like. We may clean it up before we get going. Key parts of it is we have a database where we're going to be keeping a sync of our LinkedIn messages. Now, we're not going to copy all of the LinkedIn messages, but recent ones, because the focus here is dealing with the unreads. I would say new DM unreads is the biggest bulk of the work in these kinds of messages. So that's the priority right now. We'll have that database. That's going to enable us to build everything else on top and not have to rely on the API providers that we're using. I will say going in, there is a small risk in what you're doing here that your LinkedIn could be blocked. I'm obviously nervous about that, but I accept the challenge because I think firstly, we're doing this to try and help manage our inboxes and retain human communication. This isn't about mass harassing a bunch of people online. Plus, we're going to be using as much open source and self-hosted stuff as possible so that all the important critical messages that could contain information that's NDA, confidential, that's going to be on a server that we control. And then Unipile does offer a webhook API, so we'll be able to listen for new events and keep the database up to date based on that. Then we identified a few of the specific key workflows that we'll need. Not to say that these won't make maybe perhaps live in one workflow, but the key backend API endpoints you could think of them as that we'll need. So one is writing a draft, of course, it receives a message thread, perhaps some sort of categorization. But anyways, gets all that context, outputs a result that then our app can use that as like a microservice. Although people are saying microservices are whack, so don't quote me on that. To contextualize all this, how it's going to look like as an app is very similar to like your actual LinkedIn inbox. There's going to be an unreads view. In that unreads view, we want to rank order the unreads by some simple rules. So what I'm thinking for MVP is basically you get a point for each hour it's unread, so from the time it was created, and perhaps you're getting like 10 points for each 100 followers. And in future, we could add points for other rules, like depending on the sentiment of it. Basically, those points accrue, and we rank order it by the highest number of points, right? So the idea is when I only got 2 minutes, I can jump in, see the most important message, and just knock that one out, right? And get back and be chipping away at my inbox. Let's see what else. I'm like, not a lot of brain cells right now. Unfortunately, not due to fun reasons, just like mental exhaustion. Yeah, so there'll be this unreads view, and then you click on a message and it shows like a message thread, right? So you got the other person and your messages. There'll be a text area where you can send a reply. We'll have an AI draft generation feature. And then if we can manage it, what'll be really cool on that draft is it analyzes the email and checks if there's a decision to be made, and then outputs a version for each version of that decision. So let's say like in a basic case, it's like it can do yes, no. Hey, do you want to get on a call? And then it just gives an option for yes and no. And then I can quickly go, oh, I want the yes, cut and delete. Very often when I've tried to use ChatGPT for draft replies before, almost always saying yes. And I have to first input that I want to do the thing, and then I need like a nice text that says, yes, I'd love to get on a call, what time works for you, and not be super rude to people, right? And then there's one thing I really want to add if we have time, and it's not an AI feature at all, and that's exactly why I want to build it, because again, this project is to show how we can use AI as a tool, tastefully craft it with good UX first principles, and build like a solution to a problem that I can use that I love, that hopefully others do as well, right? Because we're going to share it as a template. For me, what happens very often, the most common case is like sending someone a Calendly link, but it's not just the link. It's usually the phrase like, hey, here's my Calendly link. I'm in so-and-so time zone. If those slots don't work, please let me know which time zone you're in and I'll get back to you, right? That's actually static text that I could use almost every time, but interspliced with something dynamic, right? So I wrote something and then I need to add that in. In future, we could have those auto syncing from my Calendly and stuff. But really, if I can go into some database and add a few items in a row that's like Calendly link, the name of it, and just a text block that I could print, that's job done for me. Like it needs to be good enough. And then meanwhile, Oumnya was taking a look at the Unipile API. The really cool thing about Unipile is, so we're focusing on LinkedIn. That's my immediate need right now. But they have support for LinkedIn, for WhatsApp, for email, I think Telegram as well. Now, the really neat thing is the API response across all these services is standardized, which theoretically, it's going to make it way faster to either swap this whole UI to work for WhatsApp or add multiple inboxes and have it be like a merged list. So tomorrow's Tuesday and we've got a full day of flowgramming planned, and then about a quarter to a half day on Wednesday. Realistically, on Tuesday, we're going to have to push, because if we just are in building mode the whole time and only start testing it on Wednesday, from experience, there's going to be stuff that's broken. There's going to be some assumption that makes us go back a bit. If you've ever built like an IKEA thing and you get to that last step, you go, oh no, the hole's not there. It's supposed to be there. You put it on backwards and that was step 3 and you're on step 29. You know what I mean? Or also with Lego, similar things. So I'm sure many of us nerds have had similar traumas. So we want to account for that, give ourselves some wiggle room. I'm definitely nervous on this one. I'm going to try and get a few hours of sleep and then wake up bright and early, put on my flowgrammer shirt, have an overpriced espresso, and try to build an app. Use the best automation platform. Charge per execution, not step. All right, I forgot sunglasses. Borrow these from Oumnya. And I forgot sunscreen. I'm getting a tiny bit red. But if my little sunscreen, get in a taxi and get down to downtown where I'm meeting Oumnya. Shit, went the wrong way. Right, let's find a taxi. Yeah. Use it full day. Weather in Berlin is -3 degrees. Look at that, gang. -3. This is awesome. Sorry, team. Hi, Max.
How's it going today?
Yeah, perfect. Good morning. How are you? All right, so we were there yesterday, so I'm going to take it upon myself to find it without directions. All right, first problem, manager's not here. He agreed yesterday we could film, but we got to get started. I have a photo with the manager, wait for the staff to come back. Hopefully that's enough to get started, but okay, haven't even begun. First problem. All right, it's a bit of a cheeky move. I'm going to start setting up. I got the photo, like it's literally me and the supervisor thumbs upping. You should be all right. All right, so I'm a little nervous right now. Turns out the photo that we showed with the manager from yesterday, it's like a thumbs up photo, was just a server.
It's 10 to 11 right now, and we got to wait for someone more senior to come to approve this. But yeah, I was expecting some challenges, but like with LLMs and stuff, not with this. All right, so basically that was a big fat no, respectful no, but basically what could happen is now, Oumnya has an office where she works out of. She's going there in person with all her enthusiasm, charisma, and charm. The 3 C's, no, it's an E and 2 C's, and ECC. And hopefully she can convince them to do it there. So then I'll have to go over there. We'll have to make up the time. I should probably come up with a plan C. This is not a 10 out of 10 stress level, right? But I'd say it's a solid 6.5, which is not ideal. Not ideal because we're already, this is gonna put us back minimum 90 minutes. Let's say 2 hours. So we're on the run. But where I am, Oumnya said it's basically impossible to get a taxi. So I gotta leg it, like, I don't know, 600 meters. All right. It's 11:36. Happy that I'm a flowgrammer today and not a native code developer because my blood pressure would be, well, higher than it is now, that's for sure. Time to jog. Okay, this taxi's busy. I'm on the way now. We need Wi-Fi, we need a place where we can film and work. So with any luck, we'll be about 2 hours behind schedule, which we should be able to make it up. Let's see, what time is it now? It's 11:58, so it's 12. So after some trials and tribulations, and oh, hi, Oumnya, by the way. Sorry,
Hi.
good to see you. So it was a bit of a stressy morning, but thanks to Oumnya saved the day. She secured a beautiful place for us to work from. We're going to get started, but Oumnya, because I was late, you were already starting, right?
I did.
Where are you so far?
I was trying to send you a message from an n8n workflow when you walked in.
From through the LinkedIn API.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. I think the first thing I need to pick is, because it's basically like, it can be a static website, right? So then we can deploy it to Vercel or whatever, like Cloudflare, something open source.
Cloud Station.
That's right. Okay. I'm sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. No. Who? Sorry, girl, sorry. We're going to deploy it to Cloud Station. We think we'll use bolt.diy.
Yeah.
And so I got to find maybe some kind of UI kit or something, right?
DIY, there's some starters, so we can just use a starter from there.
Okay, let me go have a look at that. Pick one.
To give a damn, it just don't faze me. I got my
We just got bolt.diy set up. We're going to use Next.js as the base, so that's started. Now I'm going into Balsamic, and I'm going to quickly mock out the wireframes that we need, put that into Bolt. Hopefully it just generates it perfectly in one shot. And so there's 2 views that I have to make. The first one is like the unread inbox view, and then the next one is going to be the message thread view. Should be pretty quick because we're not reinventing the wheel.
there ain't no rest. For the wicked, I'm bad and I'm blessed. Put it to the test. For the rest, there ain't no contest. So what's next? Got me leveling up, I'm obsessed.
I'm just testing the message sending from BeautyPile. She's like, hey, did you get the message? I'm like, no. Like, well, the message definitely sent, and it looks like we've got a message sent to Kevin, and he received it, so that's good. It's good news. Yeah, the message sending works. Good team.
We get the unread messages and reply to them.
Nice, cool,
Most of the Apple time.
nice. Yeah, we're done. Lunch. And I just created one of the first views here. I mean, it's pretty simple here. We take a quick look. I created this simple view here. I'm gonna get the next one as well.
You the best. No contest.
It's 10 to 2 p.m. Oumnya, how are you doing? Where are you at?
So I've tested all the APIs that I wanted to use, and I'll get all the messages that I need, and I set up the webhook to get the new messages and then classify them. So my next move is going to be to set up the database. The backend service that we're going to be using today is going to be Pocketbase, just because it has easy authentication, so I can just set it up easily.
I guess it'll be easy to switch to different databases, right?
Yeah, because I'm going to wrap the backend service in an n8n workflow so that I can switch it.
Smart. Okay.
So the other reason I'm using Pocketbase today and not MongoDB like I usually do is because with Pocketbase I can export the whole database and then it could be a part of the templates.
Oh, nice. And what I'm working on is I'm pleasantly surprised by bolt.diy. I'm gonna be honest, it's the first time I've used it. I know I'm late to the party, but it has a basic view for the unreads, and then I'll create the other view. That's just the front end. The next thing we can do, have a chat about front end, back end contract. Like maybe we create the mock schema so I can work with the mock schema. And this.
Yeah.
And then the front end's not gonna be the big part. So once that's done, we can then pick which workflow I'm working on. So then we can doing in parallel.
All right?
Break.
Yeah. I think we're still going to be able to do it in a day.
We have to. So we will do it in a day. And then The time is 2:36. Oumnya, let's get some good news. Where are we at?
Okay, so I am done with the message API. It's gonna be saved automatically from LinkedIn. So whenever there's a new LinkedIn message, it's gonna automatically save it in this database.
Okay.
You can try it right now.
And how do the messages, do you have a concept of a thread and then messages in them? How is the LinkedIn API structured?
So LinkedIn API doesn't have any threads, which is
Really?
yeah. So every message sent has the same ID. So we only have the timestamp to differentiate them.
So we have some kind of thread ID, right? Because there's this thing here.
Yes, but we can't reply on it. I can't reply from the Unified API on a message.
You have to reply to a person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can test it by me sending you a message.
Yeah.
Show up in? Okay, great, let's do that. Yeah, so we're in Pocket Base right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me send a hello tests. Send. Okay, I just sent it. Hit proof, the sent, and it just showed up. Cool. So here we've got the ID, which is this.
Well, this is the message ID.
We have the chat ID.
Yeah. So and you can see all the message IDs that I get from Max here have all the same ID.
Okay, so that is like a thread ID.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my name, yeah.
Yeah, and then the LinkedIn profile so that we can do the classification based on the LinkedIn followers. Yes, and then the message
and the message ID, created update. I'm basically done with the unread view, and now I'm going to create the individual message view. And so what we were talking about, I think a very common pattern, right, is the unread view, when I click, it'll open a new route and it'll have a URL parameter with like thread ID, whatever. Which one will be passing along?
Yeah, it could be the chat ID. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so there will be some ID that I can pop with that'll work.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So now I'm starting on the individual view. At first, I was going to do them as two separate routes because it was easier. I was like, no, got to do like a sexy slide out single view.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that, time box it. If it's not working, I'm going to revert to the more basic one, but I'm doing it for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, ready? Break. Everything was going well in bold, but then we got a little fancy. We want to make not two views, but we want, like, when you click on a thread, it slides out and it's all integrated. And now it's broken. And it's all just like black text on black ink, blue unstyled and whatnot. But yeah, we saved some states so we can revert it. But if I'm having trouble with this, maybe it's too complicated, we'll go for the two route thing. So since we're here, let's do a time check. It is 3:22. How are you doing?
I have created another table. Basically, we're separating the profile from the messages. So I'm saving the LinkedIn profiles in a table, and then I'm gonna link it to the messages. So that I already have a mini CRM where I have the profile info. I know already if I want to answer the profile.
No.
Did you give it too many complicated tasks at the same time?
I told it to create the view,
The whole view?
the animated. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Well, but how else do you like take the view and add a whole new view to it?
Leave the page alone and start with a new page.
All right, we're gonna go
not
with
that
two-page.
smart.
We're going with two-page approach. All right, it's 4:17 p.m. right now. I got a call from our sales team, and I gotta go do a pitch tomorrow at 10 a.m. to Redacted. So lost about an hour there. So it's about 3 hours lost today. And then tonight, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of prep on that demo. But okay, my boss Louise should be very happy though.
You better.
Oumnya, where are you at? How are we doing?
So I finished with the tables. I have now the LinkedIn profile. So I get all the LinkedIn profile feeds that I need so that we don't keep updating our mini CRM.
Awesome. Where I'm at is, well, firstly, bolt.diy keeps refreshing, so I'm not sure right now. Hopefully it's all good, but I have both views done. On the unread messages view, there was a few things I wanted to tweak, which I just sent as a message. It's kind of hanging right now on that. So if that doesn't work, I downloaded it. We'll just revert to that. So I have the two views. So
Both DIY keep doing one thing that makes it break. It's the skip interfaces. It gives you comments instead of doing the work. It gets lazy. When you send a new prompt, just keep sending to it. Do not give me comments. Just code it.
okay. So I'll handle that in a sec. But basically, my front end is
Pretty much done. Yeah.
pretty much done. So what it did is it had like mock data, right? For it. So like for the messages, it's like an array of it's an array of messages. So now we got to make sure that the array that Oumnya will send is in that same format. And same thing for the message thread. When you're in a thread, there's a message thread there and a lot of other miscellaneous information, right? There's the follow account, the URL for the person's profile.
I already
etc.
had them, man. It's done.
Working with professionals, great. So let's take a look at that. And in the, it's not Notion, what is it called? The awesome Notion killer?
Outline.
In outline, let's paste in those schemas. Like for this view, here is the API RS. We have like a documentation.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And then it's like 4 p.m. I haven't eaten breakfast today. I should probably eat something.
Go eat.
I feel pretty weak right now.
Getting used to.
All right, after a very stressful moment where I thought I lost all my bulk stuff, so definitely be clicking that download button. Or name your versions and files, like 50 JSON files. We got it back, and now I'm looking at the documentation with Oumnya and defining front and back end contract. We have an ID. That's going to be the ID when we click on the actual thread route. That view can populate what it needs to. We have the author.
First, we need to integrate, because I can change stuff simply from my side. So I think we first integrate the backend with the front end, and then we move on to adding new stuff.
I'm saying we do that on the back end side, not on the front end side.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Cool. So does this, you sign off on this back and front end contract? Or whatever the fee?
Let me check. Let me check what do we get from.
Okay, so I'm currently working on the get draft API endpoint. So what it does is the front end contacts it with the relevant information, like the to who to reply, the category, the incoming message, and it expects back the reply, the draft reply. We decided to make this thing simpler. There's no reason we need to store that draft reply like in the database. It's ephemeral, right? So in the message thread view, there'll be a generate draft button. That contacts this API, it returns it, places it in the response text area. But yeah, let's see how quickly I can get that done. I'm gonna order us some food. Should I order a German doner kebab?
What do you want to eat?
I'm not sure. Maybe I do something healthy.
It's healthy.
No, let me do the superfood place.
But it has like a good steak and all that.
Okay, who's crave.
Craving
Tacos?
not fast.
No, tacos.
This is not healthy.
You too. Thank you. Have a nice one. Look what I got. All right, so I've got the AI agent that's gonna, oh, it's not an AI agent, not everything's an AI agent. I've got the generate draft thing and I was ready to test it. I've got the AI model locally hosted for me. When I was having some connection issues, and when you have connection issues, don't blame your co-flowgrammer's infrastructure. Check your credential first and see if you just completely mangled the base URL before you go do that. All right, with the power of AI, I have broken it, and hopefully with the power of AI, we'll fix it. Oh, we gotta declare the state variables at the... Come on, Claude. Everyone knows that. It's doing stuff. Doing enough stuff. That's still working. Good thing we got a little bit of tomorrow too, huh? Okay. So, click the generate button. Makes sense that it kind of doesn't work because I haven't even filled in the route yet, so I don't expect it to work. Send this as a screenshot and have Claude fix this. So, all right, while that's generating, quick hot take. It's kind of something Oumnya and I were talking about. The thing with these like bold.diy and all these different things, like they're super cool, right? I mean, did a lot of front end code and stuff that I would not have been able to do. But the pattern I've noticed is as your project gets a bit more complicated, things start falling apart, or at that late stage, it'll like start breaking some style stuff. And the more you rely on using it without kind of understanding what you're doing, the more you can kind of get screwed. So basically every change I do now is in this heightened state where I'm trying to get like a saved version of that. So it's cool that they have the push to GitHub, but I highly recommend as soon as you do something useful that is working, commit it to GitHub because never know. Interesting thing came up. It's almost 7 p.m, so we've got 1 hour left. I've almost got the generate thing working, but we're getting stuck on like the JSON response from respond to webhook and n8n. It has like single quotes and stuff, so it's breaking it. I'm just saying we should base 64 encode it and then base 64 decode. I'm thinking that might be overkill. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. I'm gonna ignore the like professional development. How many years have you been coding?
I played the 5th.
What is the correct way to make a string? Let's see. What do GPT have said? String escaping.
Oh, hell no.
Okay, that
We ain't
sounds
doing that,
tacky.
yeah.
Let's see. I might do that. Stringify?
I couldn't find a stringify thingy in.
Oh, because it's not a method on, you have to use JSON.stringify and then put the, yep.
Oh, okay.
Because we have 1 hour left, I'm sorry.
You gonna do that? Oh man. When you can.
That's so shady.
If it
Do you think
works.
it's gonna work?
It's gonna work.
Oh, it works. No. Okay, gang. So this is working here and save it. If I go into my bolt dot,
Jawad.
okay, let's refresh this. Okay, this is a little broken here, but if I click generate now it's got mock data on the input. Oh my God.
It does work.
Cool. Okay, so little UI stuff to fix here, but that's peanuts. The back-end AI stuff's working.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a bit more to do though, a few other routes and stuff. I'm seeing like some of these replies are not perfect. I would say they're like a 6 out of 10, right? I would rather improve those.
The reply.
Like check 2 and 2. All right, guys, let's push it like salt and pepper. Because look, okay, this is going to be a little delayed here, but click, boom, IDs being sent along, IDs not being sent in here. But this is a simulated browser. Let's download. And push to the hub. Here. What do? We added linking between views. Bum, ba, ba, ba. Initial commit 18 minutes ago. Okay, I guess I sent a sneaky. Nice. Okay. This is how we do it. Documentation. We have the author.
Got it. But it's just one because it's one.
Yeah. Oh, wait. You know, that makes sense. This is a list of each message in the inbox. Each item in the array is one of these. Right?
Each item on the array is the message. Okay, so I think I should get the inbox, not the user.
You probably need to fetch the most recent message attached to the user, and then you have what you need.
So the thing is, I can do both. It's just which one makes sense the most.
Oh, by the way, tonight I can't stay too long because of this thing in the morning. I apologize. Like, are you exhausted?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep.
Oumnya, what time is it right now? Yeah. Time to get a watch. It's so corny.
10:30.
Okay, it's 10:30 p.m. I think mentally we're pretty drained.
Yeah.
Good hustle. We got the front end, back end connected. We got it committed to something that isn't AI, GitHub, which we trust a lot more than AI for that kind of stuff. What I want to really do tomorrow is, at the beginning of the day, create a list of things we could do, prioritize it, and start from the top so we can cut up. And then, so in the morning, I have to take one for the team and go pitch redacted tomorrow, but then I'll be right back in. We'll do our thing, get some rest, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything today. Like, what a day, what a day.
I be on top car, I be on job, and I put it on God, they know, but you stop me.
Program is here. So it's day 2 of building. We basically lost the morning, a little frustrated because I'm seeing like there's quite a bit of scope to do.
Yeah.
I think we got this. The issue we had this morning was we knew we had got farther along than our staging was showing. Something. Oumnya fixed that finally. What was the issue, Oumnya?
We were using the Next.js static output, so I removed that, so now it's getting the stuff from the server side.
And what we've done now is we've created like a list of things to do. We're not going to get it all done, so we need to prioritize. I think we need to descope the ranking feature. I do think that the ranking feature is going to be useful when people have very intense inboxes, when they're getting like 50 a day, basically to where like they might never answer some of the messages, right? Like, so they really have to be like, look, I can't answer everyone.
Yeah.
That's not my case today. Like, I'm not getting 50 a day. You're getting 50 a day?
No.
And then we need to do auth.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be sending LinkedIn messages and all that kind of jazz.
Also reading LinkedIn messages.
Yeah. And yeah, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a few little UI things and stuff. Is there anything big on your list that you think we need to do?
Shit. So what did you talk about?
Basically on my side, okay, the env variables, oh, that's on my list. That's done. Nice. We got to make sure the routes are hooked up because we got to change, the back end, front end schema tweak. Let's get that working.
Yeah.
So let's get the 3 views, back end, front end working.
Yeah, so I'll take care of the thread as well, the messages that we get. I can do that. I've added the with bolts as well, middleware, so that we can have that set. So I'm honest. I'm gonna.
Okay, cool.
I'm like.
I will knock out a few small things while you do that, but as soon as that's ready, let's then connect those because then all the views are connected.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, ready, break. We have a little bit of an issue right now on we're gonna have to push. Because if we just are in building mode and only start testing it on Wednesday, there's gonna be some assumption that makes us go back a bit. What's the issue, Oumnya?
Thread. It sends sender and SMD. So we have both information. I was working under the assumption that Unipile only sends the messages that I receive. I didn't think that I was going to send also the messages I sent.
Okay, then, well, it's good because we need those to construct the thread.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
going to update.
Am I in the workflow that you're in right now?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's saved.
Okay.
I haven't super tested it yet, but the way it's designed, it's gonna have to update the user twice on the new call. So it's a little inefficient, but the benefit is if the text classification shit fails, the user doesn't fail and then this fails, but it's more graceful because the categorization is optional. The creating a new user, the logic depends on that. Okay. So it's the time, Mr. Wolf. The time is 7:18. We have a T minus quite a while from food, unfortunately. Not even. Let's have a look at our to-do list, check some stuff off so we can also get that progress feeling. The thread view, can you have a look at that, Anya, and tell me what you've checked off?
So we have hook up the back end with the front end.
Cha-ching.
It is not done. Yeah, I need to add this. Okay, so for the threads, we also added the image. It's not in the to-do lists, but it's done.
Once you're done with the threads view, and it's like on PR'd and GitHub, especially if they screw it up, if you switch to inbox view, I could do some things in thread view, because there's also a few little things in the thread view that I could then work on fixing this send button icon issue, or you're gonna try and knock that out before PR.
I'm gonna fix the send button and add this the send functionality, and then I'll
Okay, cool.
push it.
Because loading state that, and then that's nice to have the icon. And then I can add new functionality in that view, but you PR and save the working version of it while you're then tackling the inbox view and then separate views.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's do this.
All right, that's full flow grab now. I'm very glad the food came. Everyone eating out here, but while still working. Oumnya's working on the thread view. Meanwhile, we decided, because she's deep into these views, I'm working on the text snippets thing. The example here is the name of the text snippet is Calendly 30 min, and it then adds this text snippet. Then I'm gonna have this on the thread view, so I can get this set up in the workflow that feeds it. I just started it. Oh my god, Oumnya, what just happened?
When I run npm run dev, I can see the images in the avatar section here, but in the production environment, it doesn't show.
This is similar to the problem we were having, right? Like between prod and stage.
Yeah, so it's pissing me off.
Oh, ooh, that's a lot of errors. Although I feel like half of VC-funded apps in production have a crap load of errors.
I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between the production environment and the dev environment. So this is the production environment. I can see here the avatar. The link is right here, but it doesn't show up here. And same thing for the other view. So the threads view, same issue. You need to keep.
I'm in shock right now. What just happened? How did you?
The tracker thing that only open 2 hours a day, but it puts an alarm for it.
Thank you so much. It's so thoughtful. I was really bummed. I was like, okay, we have the coolest global community ever. Oumnya, thank you so much. On that note, back to work. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. Shed a tear of awe feelings right now. Aw.
Do it like that. Do it like that.
We're here in the inbox now. We just had a message come in again. This is Oumnya's inbox. Click on this here, and more messages would come in here. We could reply, right? Here we have to change the styling a little bit, but there's a grayed out send button here. But Zachary has sent us a message here. He's wondering if he wants to collaborate with us. But so we can go to their LinkedIn profile. I think another thing we want to add is going to the actual thread as well. We agreed we don't want to recreate the entire LinkedIn experience. More complex stuff, we'll just go in there. But I think is really cool here, this little generate button. Let's click that. Now we don't have a loading state yet, but this has just kicked off an n8n workflow. In a moment here, we're going to get, it's correctly identified that there's a decision for us to make. Reply with yes. Hey Zach, thanks for reaching out about potential collaboration. I guess we should make this a little bit longer too. Definitely curious to hear more, always open exploring. Okay, great. And this is in my voice, it's a hard-coded example of this. And then reply with no. So the idea here is when we're working on this, again, if this was a bit taller and stuff, I can look at this, okay, reply with yes. So I could just delete the no part and then we can send it.
But I think you left the reply with yes.
Yes, we did do that. So you know what? That's a great little filter we can have out. The user removes it, doesn't change it. They forget to remove it, it removes it. That's good UX. Anticipate that the user can be a bit of an idiot because we can be, especially at 11:30 p.m. without any sleep.
So I didn't manage the rehydrates of the page because it should be
Oh, is that the fancy term, rehydrate? I've heard that before. I was always like, what does that mean? See? Beautiful. What I didn't get to yet, but the back end is all done, is these snippets. So there's like a Calendly snippet. Hey, here's my Calendly. I'm in CST time zone. It's a good over. Please let me know your time zone. A couple other snippets like that. What I intend to have is maybe here they pop out and then you have a list of them and you can just click.
Yeah, that'd be
something like
nice.
that. So I'll have that. Maybe little notes for Zacharias. So be like, oh, he loves, maybe he really loves vanilla
Cats.
ice cream. Cats.
Oh, he loves cats. I love cats.
Hates cats.
He's afraid of
Afraid of cats, for example. And then we can see their follower count as well, which I don't think that should be the only reason why you contact someone, but if someone hits you up and they have 50,000 followers, that makes a difference.
Yeah. 2,000 left.
So, okay, let's talk through these workflows. Where would you like to start between these three?
Oh, it's on your message.
Yeah. So that's where it all starts.
Yeah, so the first thing that happens is our new message. So this is where we use in the Unified API to get the newest messages. Unified is sending the messages to this webhook. So it's a post webhook. And so we get the details about the messages.
So we bring in, so the UniPy lets us know if there's a new event with all that kind of data. And I see you've got a switch node here.
But yeah, basically, I manage the not for me or for me to know if for the bubbly heads to show that we show in the thread view.
For context for everyone, these ones here.
Yeah, so it's when it's from someone else, then I show the user's head. When it's from me, then it just shows me because I don't need to see my face everywhere. I get the user from the Pocketbase instance because I want to enrich the min CRM that we're doing. So I get the followers, the name and the last name and the avatar. So to get that, I use the Unified API and I don't want to abuse the API for nothing. So I check first if I saved the user in the database. If I do, then I just update the messages table with the new message. If I don't, then I get the profile and then I update the messages table.
Got you. And I can pick up this part because I added this in. This is where we're categorizing the message of the thread. Now it's just based on the first message. So these are the two main cases I'm seeing right now. It's I love your content. And then there's a collaboration proposal, which also, this could get more advanced in the future. Obviously, we could add the ranking and stuff if they're a big deal and whatnot. But those are the two things. We then set some properties here, basically just the string on the category to add. And then again, we're just into Pocketbase, posting that. So that's the whole pipeline that ingests new messages, right? So in here, we call it inboxes right now. I guess we'll update it to messages. So we got 3 messages in here right now. Here, we only have 2 people, but that's because we sent a message to Sakura. So that's his reply. So that's why we have 3 messages here, right?
Yeah.
So once it's in this source of truth, this is what we work off of, right?
Yeah.
There's a one-to-many relationship between people and messages. We de-scoped group threads because I think you just learned about them like last week, right? And I do them infrequently, so it's totally fine if I think it's out of scope. Get users.
This is the first UI.
Okay, so this is for the inbox route, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got another webhook again. What's happening in here, Oumnya?
So this is a get webhook that we call to get the messages, all right?
Oh, so there's no parameters. It's just a ping, basically, just invoking it.
Yes, and it's using the header to send the token because this is secure. This part is secure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, when you sign in using sign in UI, this creates a token, a valid token that's we're gonna use to get the users and the messages and all that stuff. So we send that in a bearer token in the header.
I've never seen this pattern. I didn't even know that this was possible. So thank you for showing me that. All right, get users.
Yeah, the get users is using the token. So that's why I'm passing it through the header. So it's using the authorization here, the token authorization, to get the users from the Pocketbase DB. So I don't need to verify anything because if the authorization token is wrong, it's gonna send me away anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's that use case. If this is an error, which means I'm not authorized, it just
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we got an error message. No, but this is good. This is MVP and this is clear.
Yeah.
This is
Sure enough.
It's true. So we've fetched the list of users, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got.
So if it's successful, there's a feature in Pocketbase that allows you to expand on a table to expand to the other table that you have.
Oh, very cool. So if they're linked, it fetches the linked children.
Exactly. So I don't have
That's
to.
such a neat life hack in a database. So it's just one query.
Yeah, it's one query. Yeah.
And how do you get that set up in here?
Just expand.
Ah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
Pocketbase isn't paying us, but like maybe we get that.
Yeah. So I
And
split this
then-
out to create a table.
So we got 3 items coming out.
Yeah.
And
And I clean it up because I don't need everything. So I send what I need to the UI. And that's it.
Okay, so we aggregate in one, and then we got one in here, and then we send it back. Very cool. Okay, so let's
Simple.
get users.
Very simple.
So that's what populates this.
Yeah.
So every time this loads, so if I refresh this, so a quick empty state, and boom, get messages.
Get messages is the second one. So we're gonna clean the naming conventions later.
Yeah, we're gonna one-to-one it so it's easy to follow. We'll have sticky notes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of sticky notes. I designed the feature.
Second one is the get thread or the messages. Same logic as the other one.
Just for context, all these ones here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
When you click on the user, it passes the ID of the user to the in there, and that's sent to the other workflow with the authorization token, like the
So same pattern there,
Yeah,
basically.
same pattern, yeah.
Yep.
The only difference is the ID that we sent. And I use that ID to get the users, and I do the same thing that I did with the first one. I expand it.
Same pattern, basically.
Same pattern,
okay, so
yeah.
same but different.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the /message, that's for sending.
that's-
Okay, this looks,
Very simple.
you know what's funny? If I was like in some enterprise sales code, I'd be like, as you can see, we have an API gateway wrapper here. Well, we got a webhook trigger, we make the API call, and we return back. So we're making a simple call to Unipal to send the message.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're not going to go through the details here, guys. If you've gotten this far, you probably know how to do that. And if not, drop a comment and we'll tell you. And then the
That's it. That's the
didn't
3
generate draft as well.
That's yours.
As you saw in the demo, there's two cases I have for now. There's either like simple reply, which for me is, hey, love your stuff, or something like that, or a simple reply, a question like, hey, where can I find your documentation? Let's say it's on Google, but that's also a simple reply. There's not a decision to make. The one thing what I always tried when I was trying to use like GPTs and stuff to help me do this stuff faster, it always assumed yes, because it's trying to be helpful.
That's
So
true.
this text classifier, what it does first is categorize it by decision to be made or simple reply. There's not that much prompting here, but if I open this up a bit, just so you can kind of see that for a second, these two categories are mutually exclusive. So that's an assumption made. That might not be the case all the time, but most of the time that will be the case. We are using Haiku here. We're going to swap that out for a self-hosted model. We have some issues with that and we did not want to spend time on that. But that's why I'm using Haiku. So we have a bit more parity with something a bit smaller. So I've used Haiku in everything here.
Okay.
So then this outputs and we set the prompt. So the simple prompt, we give it a role, we give it the message, the recipient's full name, some examples of my voice. So this is hard-coded. This is probably the kinds of things we're doing onboarding thing. Like, hey, paste in a few LinkedIn messages, or we'll grab them with the API and feed them in and stuff, right? When drafting replies, some rules here. Again, check out this template and have a look. We'll pause this video. Always reply in English, irrespective of the input output. I get messages in German. Sometimes if I reply in German, they start replying in a lot more German. So you got to stop that at the root and only output the draft reply. That's the simple prompt itself. So we're just setting a variable for the prompt. The decision prompt, same structure, or the differences in the tasks. I say first analyze and identify the decision that needs to be made. I give an example, then write a draft for each decision, each kind of decision option. And then it's more or less the same, but then I show that format. So yes, to meet next week, reply yes. And then we have a dynamic prompt. Now, if you're going to do this pattern, guys, make sure that on these multiple set nodes, whatever you have here, maybe it's a code node or whatever, just make sure you have the same key, because then in this node, you can use a relative reference, not an absolute reference, and that's how it'll work for all cases. We respond with a draft or we respond with an error. I think it's in here where we saw in this one case, failed to generate a draft. So then we see that. That's basically it, I think.
Doesn't look like much.
It's like we're dancing because we finished. We did not.
No.
We have to leave by 12. So before we get into this wrap up, I just want to first off say, Oumnya, thank you so much. You took time from your precious days as a founder with your team, on one of the days, she was like, hey, I'm just going to finish stand up and I'll be right there. I'm like, right. She's like running a business.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Online is great too, but there's nothing like building art together.
I agree. I thought we were going to finish it for sure.
Yeah. Me too. We had a few trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah.
On each day, something happened, we lost 2 to 3 hours. But I'm really proud of what we built so far. And I'm curious, let's say we did this project 5 years ago. How far do you think we would have gotten? Do you think we've gotten around the same way? Or has tooling fundamentally changed what we're able to do today?
Yeah, for sure. Just 2 years ago, we could not have done this quickly.
What do you think was the biggest part of that?
Well, AI helps a lot.
Yeah. It's funny how quickly we've gotten used to it as a norm.
Yeah.
I was never a front-end developer. I was a script kiddie that would, as a designer, you get involved in stuff, but the amount that got done, I don't think these tools are ready for prime time yet, but they're useful. Like, I think they're going to get so much better. And the bugs and stuff that I see, like,
For POC, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's more than enough.
but I think it's not an if, it's a when. It will mature and it will be the way
Yeah.
you build this stuff. Is there anything you miss from before the AI world? Anything getting like a bit weaker now that you're relying on this technology?
No.
No? I love it.
I completely embrace AI. I'm not are those people that say AI is going to take my job. For now, AI is just making things easier to do.
One thought that I had when we were going through this, when we were having the caching issues and this kind of thing, I remember feeling a little helpless because I was like, my AI isn't working. I had no idea where it was, how it was, if it was part of the code, as a part of the infra layer. I felt a little helpless and bewildered at times with that. I'm curious, how did you feel when we were having those like caching issues and things were changing? Like,
for sure. So if it happened before, I would go to Stack Overflow and Google. Now I just go to Claude or ChatGPT. So it happened before. It's gonna keep happening. You need to get over it and find the fix.
it's like same shit, just a different day, but a lot faster.
Yeah, I'm just a different person to ask here.
We didn't build everything that we wanted. If we hit the reset button and it was Monday morning, is there anything you would do differently in the project?
I think this is exactly. If I was gonna give advice, which I don't really do, but if I was gonna give any advice, I just like to say do it. This is exactly what we did. We don't know how Unipile responds. Yeah, I think if we wanted to do it better and we started just reading the documentation, looking for how to do stuff, we would have been still looking for how to do it instead of just doing it and then figuring it out.
I see your point there.
Working example.
It's not a prototype. Working example. Yeah, do that. Get it out in the world, even if it's privately to a handful of people, and then rebuild it.
Yeah. I have no regrets.
We have a working name right now. We came up with it in like 2 seconds. It's LinkedOut.
I didn't participate in that.
Oh, you're
not.
You're not. Nice. Classy move. You're like, no, I'm not part of that name. So, do you have a better name?
No, I like it.
Oh, you like it? Do you guys like LinkedOut? Thank you so much for like inviting me here to Dubai. Well, I kind of invited myself, and you said yes though.
I invited you to Cal Station.
Yeah. But thank you for the Dubai chocolate. I'm very excited for that.
Speaking of speaking foreign languages, when I visited the Wordware office, when I walked into the office, the first thing the founder said was, "If I miss this flight, my boss is gonna have my ass."
Next time around, this whole push thing is cool. But obviously there was like that extra pitch I had to do and whatnot. But I feel like if I had a half day more of rest, we could have gotten 30-40% more done. We're gonna drop off the chocolate, or some of it. I promised my girl some, and some new friends as well.
Luis, the Uber was 50 euros, so I'm gonna take the train. All right? Keep that in mind.
This is the n8n office. Here we've got our esteemed values on the wall. We got act with integrity. Don't beat that. Work with speed and efficiency, not on speed, with speed and efficiency, and inspire and think huge. They said big, I said huge. This chocky, I gotta divide it up. Thank you, Oumnya, so much for me and the whole n8n team, and my girlfriend, and any of my mates are gonna get a sneaky little taste. So, this is the freaking incredible experience. Now, I'm not much of the TikToker, so I just mainly heard about this from other people. Oh my God, there's so much. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. All right, so n8n team, get to the office. Some of this can be yours. Can't get Knefe of it. That's hilarious. Mind your own Buiskov. I'll do the dark chocolate one. We got some mature, esteemed, C-suite, leadery type folks here. Yeah. Let's go home, quick shower, editing. Slow ground away.
3 days later.
Hey, Oumnya, how you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, pretty busy. How's your flight?
Flight was good. I made it, so that's good. The chocolate made it as well. It was delicious. The team loved it. Thank you so much, Oumnya. It was so sweet of you. I've been editing this video down and realizing how much time we actually lost to some of the issues that happened during the video. But nonetheless, we're going to get this done because I was also looking like what we built is pretty cool.
Thursday after we left, there was an AI expo in Dubai. So I went there. I only had my phone on me. I didn't have my computer, but I did have LinkedOut, and I got to just write my drafts and send it on the go with my phone, which I never actually do.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So MVP's validated. It's creating value. Let's create a to-do list. Is there anything on your list that you knew of that we still need to get done?
Yeah, I need to clean up the authentication because right now I'm using some static data. And we need to add a logout button because you can't log out. So that needs to be cleaned up.
Okay.
And I need to add some dynamic the authentication, but basically the bearer token. That bearer token is passed through from one workflow to another. I need to make that an environment variable somewhere, and so that it's used everywhere.
Awesome. I guess that's super important because of, again, in inbox, important stuff.
And finally, I have to document the workflows I worked on.
Basic and workflows. Which workflows? Could we have those in the checklist?
Yeah. Get users on new message and get messages.
And then we have clean up, generate, draft, workflow. Okay, great. Then from my side, on some of the UI stuff, little things like the text area should be taller. I'm happy to do that kind of level of UI polish across the views. Does that sound good?
Okay. Also, if you can add the snippet thingy to make it.
Yeah.
Now I'm asking for features.
And then around the categorization stuff, right? I can follow up on inbox sorting or functionality.
What I have to do as well is to export the bucket space configuration and stuff so the users can be able to duplicate it.
How about this then? How about you do this stuff, right? And then export it and export the n8n workflows. And then before I do my stuff, I import that. I try to recreate a pocket base. I try to get everything recreated. So we test that's all working. And then I add the new features. So basically a week from now, we launch this.
All right, let's do it. I mean, it's easy.
Really excited for this all to come out. Thanks again for all the work and all the work you're going to still do that you have committed to. So on camera.
Yeah, thanks. You too. And send me the snippet.
We made some awesome progress on LinkedOut. I'm basically just putting the finishing touches on documenting it and testing it. All the actual app is done, but now I'm thinking through your lens, setting it up on a new instance and seeing ways that we can make it a bit simpler. By the time you see this video, LinkedOut will be released, 100% free for you to check out and download. Wherever you're watching this video, there's gonna be a link to it somewhere. We're probably gonna release it all on GitHub because there's a few different files and dependencies to set up, so it'll all be in one place. On that GitHub, I'm gonna have a setup video, nice README, all the 9 yards, so it's easy for you to set it up. It doesn't have everything. For example, I noticed that you can emoji react to something and that won't show up in LinkedOut right now. Unipile does have it in the API, but what we're giving you is a really nice foundation. You've got the database, you've got threads in the UI, you can send messages, you can generate AI messages, it's got auto tagging and the snippets. We did all that in a couple days. So imagine what you could do if you clone it, set it up, and tinker on it here and there on the weekend. You're gonna have the perfect LinkedIn inbox for yourself. Now, if you do something really cool, it'd be nice if you contribute it back to the original GitHub. And if you make a non-trivial contribution, I'll definitely get you some Flowgrammer swag. Between you and me, I was really hoping that on camera, we'd show how in like a day and a half, we built an entire app end to end and launched it. If you've ever worked with me, I am optimistic to a fault. So I do sometimes overestimate that. And on the plane ride, I was a little down. I kind of felt like, I failed at that. But like we talked with Oumnya, being able to build an app that is actually useful in a couple days. Sure, we had to spend an extra 2-3 days getting it nice. And again, half that time was making it usable for other people. But yeah, in that short of a time, building what we built, I reckon that's a success. So job done. After I put out the trailer for this video, the wonderful folks over at Unipile got wind of my project and they're gonna give 50% off Unipile for 3 months with code MAX from n8n. This is all gonna be in the GitHub when you set it up. By the way, I'd be remiss to say, my coupon code is MAX50. So for n8n Cloud, MAX50 gets you 50% off. So pop the coupon code after your free trial when you're picking a standard plan. But you can also self-host n8n. I'm really bullish on this documentary style format. When I pitched n8n, I basically said, look, there's a bunch of really interesting people using some of the coolest tools in the world. And I think that's a really cool story. And I think we should tell that story. When I was watching this video before publishing it, I think we did okay, but I think we can do way better. In my vision, we would have showed a bit more of the building itself. Between you and me, I was the Flowgrammer, the videographer, the producer, the executive assistant, and that was quite a lot to manage. So If you like what I'm doing here, support this project by setting up LinkedOut, drop a comment, give it a share, because at the end of the day, if I can show my boss that the people want more of this, want edutainment, as I'm calling it, do you like that one? Then I can do this bigger, have more build days, get a bit more rest in, perhaps even get a videographer so I can focus on more flowgramming. Basically, do more. P.S. This would be a great time to mention that I think I've almost got Luis convinced to do the AI summer villa in Greece, summer 2025. So just keep pushing, push. Almost got him.
3-6 got a mean list to the track. You man busy sleeping when I brainstorm as a plan. Link handy on the underground.
I'm Max, the original flowgrammer, and this has been a special edition of The Studio, the project where I share the stories of flowgrammers across n8n's global community. Happy flowgramming.
Mad as savage in me back and I'm back in it happening, ready to blow. I remember doing deeds with Deji from the street, they left me on my own. Mom kept asking me about how I got the P, I told her leave him mum and grow. Then they're ringing off my phone, Times change but mine's made up, I ain't got line patience, tried then, don't like bait, just come close but swear that. Went ghost with a hair pack, never boast loud, get your bird whacked in my condo where I birth tracks with a gang. Catch that for the gram, snap that for